I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47 years.
We all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be
4
to 6 weeks.
You have the attention span of a gnat?
Homie, I debated you on TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not going your way.
Name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Hey, whoa,
honestly, I'm not going to have this guy's
everybody, hang tight,
honestly.
Okay? No, everybody calm down, okay? We're having a debate. You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
We have a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if I had to defend this war.
Scott, you can respond.
We have a very simple goal: to keep terrorists and a terrorist regime from having a nuclear weapon that can threaten the United States, our interests in the region, our allies in Europe, anybody else.
So you can't answer the question. I would get mad too.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys. Next for us, the president suggests ABC.
I mean, honestly.
Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there onto his life foreigners. On the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I mean, this is a joke, obviously, but this is a certain underlining pressure that's happening. Like there's an underlining fight. All right, and America is split, not in two. It's split in so many different directions. It could never stand. And this little back and forth is an idea of how the tension is. That he was triggered because he made it personal. You know, but this is how the white man is. I mean, it's not gonna really end up in nothing, but that's the spirit that's being that's out there, because people are losing it because things are not going their direction. Now, according to Orange Head today, this is May 1st, I'm putting this up. I'm doing this. He said the war is over. He's ending the war. So happens on May 1st, right? But if they piss him off, he's willing to bomb them. Some crazy shit he said. So, you know, as always, he's playing a game. And all that was just because they had to re-up their stockpile because they're going to do another round. We just don't know when. It could be soon, it could be later. But the division within the divided states of America is very public now. All right? It's extremely public. Now they play these games because they play with the minds of the people. And whatever differences they have and issues that they got towards one another, they all, at the end of the day, cameras stop rolling. They're going to be cool. They'll be like, oh, my bad, da, da, da. How was your son? You know, they'll have small talk. While the people, on the other hand, the peasants, they take up on that energy. So what you have in front of you was a performance. Okay, that was just a performance to excite the people. Because tensions are about to go off the roof. If they say what it is truly happening, what is happening, gas prices, and it's always around Memorial Day, which is sometime at the end of this month. Memorial Day weekend, the gas prices automatically goes up. But this time around, it's going to probably go up a price that nobody's going to see. Nobody's going to have a clue what to do. Okay, they're just making things a lot tougher for everybody. Real quick, Ecclesiastes 10:2 says, "As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man that ruleth the city, such are all they that dwell therein." Because the shit rolls down. People pick up what the leadership stands for. So when the way things are, especially here in the United States of America, which is not united, when you see your congressman and your congresswoman get into fistfights or get into a tick for tack, before what was it, a couple of years ago, there was a senator that got killed or some shit like that. They didn't make a big deal out of it, but there was basically the political differences took it there. So those people that's on top, they could literally pretend like they have an issue towards one another and start fighting, and that in itself might incite the people to go out there and harm each other. Because like if your leader's doing it, so what about us? Shit is about to go bad. All right, it's about to go real bad. And it says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people." Because if you destroy the people, then you have nothing to stand for. All right, and this guy either now think about it, if he's really about to go into the spiritual realm, he did a lot of damage before he left. Because that legacy that he's showing the world right now is not a good legacy. Not at all. So he's destroying the very people. His MAGA base, they they're losing it. They're pissed off because he's not living up to not a single promise that he kept. He's not living up to anything that he said he would do. That's why the guy said he mentioned about this endless war, and then the guy said, "Oh, well, you got attention span of a goldfish or some shit like that." So one, that's of course he's insulting him. He's trying to defend the madness that they started, but the real thing that he's doing is basically cursing out the younger generation. The symbolism on everything that you see. So you basically telling the younger generation, shut up. I don't know what you're talking about. This, that, and the third. So this is about to explode somehow, some way, and food might push everybody to the point of no return. All right. So, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So if you have righteous leaders, they'll make sure the cities run smoothly. But since you have foolish leaders who's really their job right now is just to bring the downfall of America. And they're doing a very good job at that. Because the Americans don't have a clue what's heading for them. Now a lot of people are saying the right stuff, but don't know what the right thing to do. Because you're still looking to be led, and you're being led down to your own demise. And I'm bringing out the classic stuff because we in that time. Luke 11:18. Should do 10 and 18 as well. Nah, it says if Satan. Matter of fact, I saw that 17. But he knowing their thoughts, and it said knowing their thoughts said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and the house divided against itself Eh, sorry, and a house divided against a house falleth. Now, oh, that's how that got me thinking too. Now, everybody could, people may, if they're old enough, or even if you wasn't born in that time, you could always reflect on times where America almost looked like it was going to the breaking point. For instance, in the 60s, in the 70s, the hippie movement. All right. The 60s is what? The civil rights movement. The hippie movement in Vietnam and all that shit. But they survived that, right? So somebody could bring those topics up if you know history. I wasn't born in, I don't. But what makes the difference now, like a completely divided world, is the prophecies. The prophecies are hitting on a whole nother level. You don't have years or decades left. You literally have months left. That war with Iran was not a minute thing like how they try to say. That war with Iran was a major stepping stone in prophecies moving forward. All right. And all those things are leading to the downfall of America in such an fashionable way. The MOTB, the thing that you could put a rap into it. Okay, that system is there so that way that our temptation can be fulfilled. So prophecies is the number one reason why, if you look back at all the times of the great division and things that, oh, at this time this could have happened, and plus you got a weaker generation. You have so much different things that's going on that we know we're at the end. All right, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. But this division that's amongst these Babylonians, this is an all-time high, and the scenery is made perfect for what's to come. Poverty, all right, homelessness is illegal. People that's basically be poor is a crime. They said about over 100. If you're making six figures, you're in a you're in a poverty level. Okay, so you got Democrats versus Republicans. Within Republicans, you got division. Within the Democrats, you got division. All these little different things, and these different parties who's leading a whole bunch of generations of individuals. And people got in. Let's be sure. And I always bring it up. The reason why people started to get interested in politics, is because of that Hamitic individual, and because it gave him some sort of hope, right? I believe that was his campaign too, if I'm not mistaken. So everybody started to look into it. Either you hated him or you loved the dude, Obama. People started to look into voting and see how voting works, and so everybody became all of a sudden overnight politicians and so forth. And that grabbed people's emotions. So when you have this guy that's in power and rulership and causing all that division that he's causing, is going exactly how they want it. But this that shows you that this kingdom is not going to stand. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? And Esau has always been divided, but this time you could clearly feel it. It's different. This is about to go down, and it's all orchestrated by the rats that wear small hats, and because within even amongst them Edomites, because they eat them, they Esau too. They cause a division. They cause um, utter hatred towards one another. So This kingdom, and it's not just Babylon, it's this whole entire structure, the West and the East. And the outcome is not going to be what they think it's going to be. There's not going to be a new world order that's going to be established and they run it. No, this is the end of him. Okay? This is why those that had some sort of intelligence, they knew if this shit goes down the way it is, there's no comeback. That's why some of them are fighting tooth and nail to maintain the old system. While the others they want to bring in the new system and they want to do it so badly. All right. They want to do it badly. So that's in itself is another division. It says Job 18:4. He teareth himself in his anger. Shall the earth be forsaken for thee? How does a man tears himself up? He doesn't tear himself up literally, but he could tear up his own household, which is his future. With the orange man in power and all the damage that he caused, even with his own allies, you could clearly see something's about to go down. And we've been saying these things for how long? It's about to go down bad. It says, and shall the rock be removed out of his place? Yet the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So the light of the wicked is talking about the illuminated ones. And the illuminated ones, they're the ones that cause all this rift. All right. They're the ones that moved individuals to do things that's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not convenient. All right. It's not suitable for survival. Let's be realistic. When you have organization as the WEF that's going around talking about carbon taxes and buying and taking lands and so forth and all these pestilence and all these things, it's not convenient for your survival. It's not just human. It's not. Let's be realistic. Like if you wanna, we know Esau is the devil, but he don't even have mercy on his own. Okay, Sirach 14:5. It says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods." So when you look at it, when you analyze it, if they're this terrible to themselves, they're poisoning themselves, they're killing their own. All right. Hey, the whole Epstein thing, which it's just a thing where the Lord is showing who they really are. But that whole thing was them harming their own. you know, they literally Epstein. He said that he didn't want no black women and nothing. So he's like, so them harming their own. If they doing that to their own, how the fuck you expect them to do good to anybody else? And this is the super rich, the rich elites. They don't give a damn about anybody, let alone people that look like them. While everybody else is trying to fight tooth and nail to maintain that. I don't know why it does that for. Everybody's trying to fight tooth and nail to maintain that which they have, with that so-called privilege that they got. They losing all their rights right before their eyes. So they don't care about even their own kind. Even animals don't do that. They'll show mercy to their own because it's one of them. These individuals don't give a damn. It says there's none worse than he that's envious himself, and that's the small hats. That's the regular Edomites, they have this utter hatred and envy towards one another. And it says, and and this is the recompense of his wickedness. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. At the last, he will declare his wickedness. And that's Esau to the T. So them starting a civil war, that's they're harming their own self. Isaiah 19:2, and it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, which that's the Most High's doing. See, this is the very same thing I'm speaking of. Is the same strategy that was done. That's the same strategy that they pull on countless other nations. Whatever tribes within nations that had an issue towards one another, instead of them talking it out, once they find out, what do? They infiltrate and feed whoever they could benefit from the most, right? Which is a concept called divide and conquer. So the Lord is using the same strategy, divide and conquer, on them, but on a high level. All right, you know, Jake, so-called black man, black woman, when you look at other nations outside of their nation, they envy that they go out there and like look at this group of people or that group of people, and what you don't see is all the wickedness that they do and all that the shit that they have going for them, it is not gonna last forever. All right, their kingdom is coming to an end. More than ever, if you can't see now that this man is divided within himself, then you're blind. And this is not no a psyop, so to speak. Yeah, the psyop is done by these politicians, people in news media. They said just that whole thing that I showed earlier. That's a that's what you call it again. That's just WWE style event because he's a grown adult, and the other guy like what's his face? Damn. Okay. Geraldo, he was there. Yeah, this is like the skinhead. Back in my because Geraldo he had that show. That's what made um those talk shows fucking addictive. And his show was in the '80s, and he always had those shows where people end up fighting. This is before this is Jerry Springer and all this other shit. So he knows, all right, he knows what how to get the viewers. But the pressure is on for the average American. You don't know when you're gonna get your next paycheck, how you're gonna pay this bill, all right? If you're gonna get laid off, if you still have a job, and there's no help coming because the people that's in office are pretending like everything is good. You got senators telling their constituents, if you got to get 2 or 3 jobs, go and get 2 or 3 jobs just to maintain. All right, the cost of living is sky high. They don't care. Gas prices are sky high. They don't care. So the higher the people that's in these higher levels, they just don't give a fuck about the average person. Here in New York, you got the World Cup that's coming, and they're doing it. What do you call it? Met Stadium, I believe it's called. I can't remember. The Giants and the Jets play. So you have a lot of people that love the World Cup. That's what the in American term that's soccer, and you have a rabid fan base. So if you in New York and you want to say go to over there, now they're saying that the price just to go to that, so the train that normally goes to New York to Jersey, I don't even know what's a normal price, but they're saying that it's going to be like over $105 or $150 just to get into the same subway system that they would normally go on a regular, just because the event is there, they want to charge him. So today I was watching the local news, and the one of the one of the representatives went up live. Well, it wasn't live at the moment. It's, but the man said that if you paid over thousands of dollars to go to see the World Cup, $150 or $150 is nothing. All right, for guaranteed. Un momento. Like I had technical difficulties. So it's guaranteed safety to the next look to the location. So that's the shit that they spilling. So they basically, we don't give a fuck about the food course. We don't give a damn about um, how you're gonna get back and forth, your cars, your rent, your electric bill. We don't give a damn about nothing. The things are too high, too bad. So the disconnect is real. The disconnect is real, and it's gonna boil over because when the people lose, when they lose it, they will lose it. So I'm a slacker for what I read, but I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. We go to the word set. It says shaka, shakaka, or shakaka to hedge, fence about, shut in, block, overshadow, screen, stop the approach, shut off, cover. Uh, that's weird. Oh, weave together. I see that. So I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. So that's just your local. So your next door neighbor is gonna be your fucking foe, even though y'all probably got along the whole time because of the people that's on top. Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. They the ones that's stirring up the pot. They're the ones that's pushing that vibration out there. On top of they phony acting, okay, they phony discourse. When you bring up the subject of what's really bothering you, they don't have an answer. It's just basically saying, telling the people like, well, just deal with it. So you could clearly see the disconnect right there, and the people they want the people to lose it, but the people they don't want to lose it. But the Lord is the one that's setting it up. It says, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. So on a grand scale, there's kingdom against kingdom, and soon there will be city against city. All right, like that. How they did during the pandemic. I only could speak up from up north here, when people was trying to leave New York to go to Rhode Island, and they said anybody that saw a New York license plate, it was calling them up because it was so at that time the people the shit spread, and why? So if anybody went to another state, they're like, nope. They start telling. So when they started telling, I was like, damn, you see right then and there, that's how they're gonna get the people. So states are gonna go against states. The Democratic states against the Republican states, and the Republican states are suffering just as much and or as bad as the Democratic states because they voted for these individuals, and they're getting screwed over. So the Lord is going to one that's going to stir up the pot, and He's stirring it up beautifully. And they will fight, and they will destroy one another, and they will never come back together because it's not going to be when shit hits the fan. It's not going to be like, okay, We let it out of our chest. Let's go back being Republicans and Democrats. No, it's all going to be about survival of the fittest. All right, like in the movie Civil War. What kind of American are you? At that time, nobody's going to give a damn. Just like I show in the same movie when it asked the people that was shooting, it's like, oh, why are you shooting? He said, what's over there? They said, they're shooting at you. So they're shooting at us, we're shooting at them. I don't know who started it, but I'm just trying to survive. And that was it. That's how real it's gonna get. It's not gonna be about um, any of these stupid laws and rules. It's gonna be really about survival of the fittest at that time, and that's what this law is gonna get them. I'm gonna end it off on this. So they stirring up that spirit. Matter of fact, let me finish it over here. It said, "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof." And the part of that spirit of Egypt is the false idea of being united. Okay, and that's exactly how everybody was thinking. No matter what the difference is, we always be this, we always this person or that person. We always quote unquote Americans. We have our differences, and throughout our differences, we always find a way to come back. But there's no comeback. There's none, and that's the reality of it all. There's no comeback to this. Once the first blood is shed, that's it. Like even right now, I'm watching, not watching, but noticing like that with that bitch Ashley Gonzalez, and that's how you know there's Satan in the midst. You have an Israelite woman being a demon, talking shit about the other tribes, the other tribe, mainly Judah, Negroes. No, she goddamn wrong, but she wants to be on the side of Esau. And then you got Edomites telling like, look, we don't care what you say. We never take you. Right? But then you have other Spanish tribes saying, we standing for this woman. They're like, what the fuck is going on? And all you could tell is there's a great division in the midst of Babylon. And it's never going to be broke. It's never going to come together until all hell really breaks loose. And in like this Isaiah the 13th chapter, if you found in that side, you're going to be taken out. All right. Just the way if somebody was in our side. So that division is real. So that spirit of the united snakes is failing. It says, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And every move that these think tanks, these leaderships, everything that they do is like as this amateur hour. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They want us to set things um in a chaotic fashion. They want to bring chaos. So that is a mission accomplished, but it's more to it because I'm not gonna get it. It tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, when the keepers of the house shall tremble, which are the economists. It's costly with all this division, and this is why there's as stated earlier, there's a division between the old the old world order and the new world order. The younger ones are trying to push this agenda, and the others are not, because you're losing. All this stuff is money, and the younger generation, they making money, but it's still not as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and so forth. That's old money. There's no making money with that. They already got it. That's why Trump's administration is what the whole entire family. I just seen a post. They made over 19 billion through this presidency alone. So every move that they make, everything that they do, is to their own destruction, to their own demise. It says, and they shall seek to their idols, same ones that got them into trouble. And it says, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to wizards. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And this is that cruel Lord. Donald J. Trump, he stirs up the pot. He brings in not only confusion, he brings out hatred. He brings out anger, all right, on both sides of the aisle, to the point where they could sit there, everybody can have differences, and they can actually hate each other, and they can hate each other, and the only thing that they could be united towards one another is the hatred for this guy. But even in that sense, they can never be united. So he just, this is, and the fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So that fierce king that's him. All right, that's him. Knowing that they got them wrong with everything that's going on, because the people, they still selling the people. It doesn't matter who's in office. Whoever's in office is going to do the will of the Lord, and they're going to bring in this division, this chaos, so the Lord could destroy this place. Because you got to understand the concept of America has always been about different nations coming together in one land, which was it was a pipe dream. It's always been about the ones that's on top, everybody else is in the bottom. So, if anything, like when the Lord attacked Egypt, all right, or Mizraim in the ancient world, what did he do? And he attacked all those different gods, all right, because every plague represented a different god that they worship, and all those guys got defeated one by one because they exist. They have no power against the Lord. So the same concept of the United States of America. Oh, you guys are united? Okay. And this is how the Lord is strategically tearing this place apart. And at the end of the day, I think that the straw that breaks the camel's back is family. That's going to completely set a chain reaction that can never be put, can't put the genie back. Because everything else is going to come out. When you can't feed your family and you lose it, I think that's the only way. Because they tried every single other thing and nothing happened. When the food trucks stop coming in and people start suffering, expect all hell. And who are they going to blame for all that? Those that's on top. And who are they going to go after them? Those that's on top. It's point blank, period. So that being said, shalom to the elect of the nation Israel. Shalom.